Good day to you, everybody. This is Martin Sherrington, and you're listening to the Google for Business podcast. In this episode, myself and the absolutely awesome Owen Hemsath is going to take you through a very important aspect of the ecosystem, which is YouTube, in particular, your videos and marketing. Welcome, Owen Hemsath.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good. I feel good.
Are you the world's best boss? I can tell from the coffee mug that you've got.
You know what? I have a thing about coffee mugs. So I've got a Star Wars mug. I have my world's best boss mug. I have it's really cool. It's like a low battery mug. And when you fill it up, the battery turns green. And then as you start to drink it, it lowers. So got that at the dollar store.
Very good. Good. Do you want to let everyone know what you do?
Yeah, I am in video marketing. I am in YouTube marketing. So we help brands and businesses take their business model, their products, their services onto YouTube in a way that generates money.
Okay. So YouTube is the second biggest search engine in the world. This is a big thing, isn't it?
It's the second biggest search engine in the world, but it's a very different type of search engine. You know, when you type in something like ice cream into Google, what you're going to get is probably, some locations of local ice cream stores, places that you could drop into and coupons and that sort of thing. But when you type ice cream into YouTube, you're much more likely to find an ice cream recipe or a homemade ice cream maker, product reviews, and things like this nature. It's very likely you'll find children's toys like Play-Doh, right? The ice cream store Play-Doh thing that you kind of squeeze ice cream cones. So it's a very different type of search engine, and it's a phenomenally fertile ground for business owners to be placing educational content on their channels to start, generating a real solid tribe of followers.
Now, I've got to say, because of the excess awesomeness that's here, we lost a little bit of sound then, so I might have to suggest we switch off the camera, only because it is primarily podcast. So you can keep yours on. I mean, you can just have that if you want. Okay. Let's see if that works. So
yeah, I'm happy to do it. I want to improve everything because sometimes I say things that are so amazing.
Yeah, it just messes
the world to miss it.
There you go. There we have it. Right. So let's talk about this. Let's say I'm a business owner, and I do YouTube, and I like YouTube. I think it's a wonderful channel. What's the starting point with this? What do I need to be thinking about? Do I go keywords? Do I go content? Where do I begin?
Yeah, that's such a great question, Martin, and I get that question all the time, even after the webinars that we do. The questions that I get, the first question is, well, how do I get started? So here's where I would go. I mean, there's probably 5 different things you need to do to get started, right? You've got to decide on your show content. You've got to decide on your broadcast schedule. You got to decide on your distribution schedule. But even going more meta than that, like let's go outside of that.
Are we going in this solar system or in another galaxy sort of meta?
Yeah,
what level?
Good idea. Let's go up to the Empire State Building and look down on your business and take a look at what we would need to do from there. I have my clients start the ball rolling with a worksheet called Your First 100 Titles. And you don't need my worksheet to do this. You can do this with a scratch pad. You can do this on Notepad. You can do this on Evernote, whatever. But start to create your list of your first 100 titles. If you cannot get past 7 titles, YouTube is probably not the place for you because you're not an expert in your content. You obviously don't have a passion for what you're talking about, and really what you're seeking is celebrity. So I would just say that's probably not your best route. On the other hand, if you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, an author, a speaker, you probably already have 20, 25 videos in your head that you want to do. So start jotting those things down on a piece of paper. We use sort of a 5-step process in how to come up with those titles. I'll walk through a couple of those with you real quickly. The first is the 5 W's: who, what, why, where, when, and how. Now, the who can be a little confusing, so I'm gonna skip that for now and just go into the what. Let's say that you sell cutlery or kitchen supplies. You want to go into like, what is the best can opener? Or what is the difference between can opener A and can opener B, right? What is a spatula, right? And start to go through some of the terms that define your industry. Let's get a little more complicated. If you're a sales trainer, you might want to do what is price conditioning and how to use it in your business. See how I use 2 of those who, what, why, where, when strategies. So use the 5 W's on a Microsoft Excel or a Google spreadsheet, if you will, and start to silo the who and write as many who questions that you would want to do. Now, for me, I'm in video marketing and YouTube marketing, so we're working on a whole series. Who is Daryl Eves? Who is Tim Schmoyer? Who is Video SEO? And all these other different companies, as a way to show that we know who the industry experts are in our industry, number one, and number two, so that they might share that video and drive their audiences back to our channel. That's a built-in distribution model. And that's a more advanced part of video marketing. But just start by writing your first 100 titles. And if you follow a structure like who, what, why, where, when, and how, then you should be able to get, Paul, one of my clients, got his 100 titles done in 35 minutes. So it's not a hard thing to do.
Okay, I love that. Let's say I do that. How am I going to make money from this?
Ooh, that is the question. The answer to that is the same way you're making money now, right? So a lot of us have funnels built into our websites, into our web marketing. Should I talk about what a funnel is a little bit?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so a funnel is a step-by-step series of web pages that a person will click on to go through your system. For example, Amazon. You go to Amazon. You search for a product. You go to the product page. You add it to cart. You check out. That's a 4-step funnel.
Yeah.
What most of us already have, like, micro funnels in place. Perhaps it's a contact form on your website. Perhaps it's an ebook download or a free webinar that you host for your prospects. Take a look at what's converting already. Tommy Powers, who is a fantastic expert, leading authority on YouTube advertising. I was talking to him at a conference a few weeks ago, and I said, how do you select your clients? And he said, I only work with people that already have great conversion rates.
Yeah.
And that's interesting, because then what he does is he adds YouTube into the mix. What you want to do as a business owner is take a look at what's converting already. Where are you getting most of your online inquiries or purchases from? Okay? And we start there. Now we back up and we create a YouTube strategy that will drive people to what's already converting. Now, for those of you listening that are thinking, that's great, I don't have a funnel in place right now. This is the first time I'm even hearing the phrase. Not a problem. What I would do is I would start by creating some type of free, downloadable, add value worksheet or cheat sheet. If you have an ebook, use an ebook. And start to drive people to that opt-in page where you can now start emailing them information on your product, services, and your other monetized products.
So get their email address, and in return they get the download. Do you know what? I garbled that then. That was the most simple thing. They opt in, but you get their email address, and then you begin to market to them. So the question is, video. Let's connect the dots between the video and the web page. How do you get them there? Because you've got a few options, haven't you? You've got description. You've got the link there. You can still add annotations on desktop, but we know it's moving towards cards.
Yeah.
So,
which is essentially kind of sad, because annotations on a desktop are still more effective than YouTube cards. As cool as YouTube cards are, and annotation is still more effective. Okay, so let's talk about, there's 3 different ways to link your video to product sales or to a monetization pathway. And a monetization pathway is anything where your customer can exchange data with you, and you can now start to engage with them on a commercial level. Okay, so if you're working in e-commerce or affiliate marketing, which a lot of your audience probably is, I know a lot of professionals do that, even if it's on the side. You want to be placing links into your videos in such a way that they are added value resources rather than, hey, buy from me right now. Let's take a look at what that looks like. So if you're selling widgets, you've got an e-commerce website similar to an Amazon, you're selling products. Maybe it's camera gear. I used to sell stun guns and tasers, right? You could be doing product demos that then at the very end you say, to check out this product or to view the specs online, go ahead and click on the link in your description box now, or click the link that you see on your screen right now. And you would place an annotation on your video. Okay? So an annotation, what is that? An annotation is a virtual clickable link that you can put on top of your video once it's uploaded to YouTube. So you'd upload your video to YouTube. There's a little menu tab that says annotations. You click on that, and it walks you through the process. Trying to verbalize it is just going to be more confusing than just clicking on it and seeing how easy it is. You would place that on your video, and the viewer, if they're on a desktop, can click on that and go directly to your associated website. So you can't just link out to Amazon and to Martin Shervington's website and to the Social Media Examiner blog or any of that stuff. You have to have an approved website, and you do that when you first set up your YouTube channel for the first time. Now, the third way is the interactive cards. Cards are very cool, but also kind of crummy at the same time,
Yeah.
So here's what a card is. A card is like a shelf that pops up on top of your video. And when you open the shelf, you can see the links that the creator has placed into that video. What's great about annotations is they work across devices. So mobile, tablet, desktop. They look the same, they feel the same, they click the same. The downside to interactive cards is they're not really intrusive, right? So when your card pops up in your video, all the viewer sees is a little lowercase I in the upper right-hand side of your screen, and it's not very noticeable. So you really do need to verbally drive your attention over to that video, over to that lowercase I that says, hey, click on the interactive card in the upper side of your screen right now. Amy Schmidauer at Savvy Sexy Social does, I think, a really great job of doing this, where she says, go ahead and click on the interactive card in the video now, and then the interactive card pops up, and she's got a little caption that says, here I am. So she's driving her viewers to that attention where they can click on mobile, tablet, or desktop.
Yeah.
I don't have a huge mobile audience. My audience is more like 25 to 52 is kind of like the age, and most of them are at work when they're watching my videos. So the desktop version works fine for me, but the fact that you have options and that interactive cards will become a bigger part of YouTube in the next year, I think is really exciting.
I think that's great, and I'm glad that you brought up about the difference of desktop and mobile, because different people are going to have different audiences, and it's being able to adjust and adapt, as you say. A mobile, the reason the cards came out, it seemed, is it's increasingly going mobile. Annotations don't work on a mobile device, but obviously the cards do. Now, you and I haven't talked about this, I don't think. Android TV. You know, a little obsession.
Wow, Android TV. No, that's new to me.
Well, what's one of the things that came, and I'm going to ask for some tips on this, because you understand it's about driving behavior. It's about people taking the next step. So I was playing around with this in California this year, and I spent a couple of weeks playing around with it. And it was from an NVIDIA Shield device, and it's super, super slick. The interface, it's amazing. But what was happening, I'd look at the YouTube videos, and you'd have the adverts, which are in there, fine. We can understand that. We know that from a desktop. We know that from mobile. But there's no annotations. There's no cards to be clicked. It's a different experience. So what I was seeing is that there's a need almost to be having drive people to a phone or to a website or whatever the next step is, but not assuming that what we've currently got is going to transfer across to the home.
When you say what we currently have got, like
like the view cards or the annotations, just like annotations, if you set your videos up to be driven off annotations, and then obviously something changes in the system, like on a mobile device they don't work, you're left with a historic thing which works on a desktop, but you've got to adjust. Yeah. And it's not you've got to keep learning, actually.
Yeah, you do. And it's a constantly growing thing. And I don't believe that video platforms without payment gateways, without monetization pathways, I don't believe they will last. Because how can they? Why would I put my business video on a platform where no one can buy from me? It wouldn't make sense. Now, if I'm a YouTuber, and I have a YouTube channel where I'm just kind of doing vlog content or maybe sketch comedy, sort of me in my bedroom talking about my life. There may be a platform for that, but why would people go there? Take a look at Amazon. It is in our circles, in sort of the video circles, we all know that Amazon is going to be releasing a platform to engage YouTube, to challenge YouTube. And they're the only people that could do it effectively, right? Facebook video is its own thing. It's its own thing. It's an advertising platform. It's got a lot of fun capabilities. We love it, but it's very different than what YouTube is. Amazon, if and when they release a video marketing platform, they already have a store built in to that model. Yeah. They already have a subscription service built into that model through Amazon Video. So they would be poised to dominate in that space, and I'm really excited to see what happens there. Now, why am I telling you that? Well, let's take that Goliath and compare it to the David of a new video platform, Android Video. You really have to have something special in order for you to compete at that space, because video today is about making money. It's about profiting. It's about being able to build a career. It's about supporting your art. And I'm not talking hardcore capitalism here. I'm talking about the beauty vlogger who has 500,000 subscribers and would like to do this full time, but she can't. Yeah. Or he can't because she's not making enough money. So beauty vloggers are looking to get into the game. How can I monetize my channel so that I can do what I love all the time? And if you're building a video platform without a monetization pathway, or you're getting into video but you're not really thinking about how to monetize from the very beginning, you'll find you've got an uphill battle in front of you.
I think that's a great start. And it doesn't matter what size the business is, it's why you're doing it. That's the starting point. Let's start from a strategic point of view. Let me come on to something else. I want to talk about YouTube, specifically community. Yeah. There is a huge community there, isn't it? And I think that people may not realize really from the outside.
The YouTube community is a very strong community, very passionate community. And I learned this when I went on Judge Judy years and years and years ago. It's this legal show. You battle it out on national TV. So I had come to this place. I was living with a girl for 5 years. I thought we were having trouble, but I thought we would last forever. We ended up breaking up, and then she came to my house and stole all my stuff. I literally came home from work, found her car there, filled with stuff. And I came into the house is empty, like it echoed. And I was like, what are you doing? And she's like, this all belongs to me. So we fought it out. She filed a lawsuit, I filed a lawsuit. Oh, wow. And then as soon as you file a lawsuit, the Judge Judy people will call you, or the Judge Joe Brown people will call you, and so on and so forth. So we went out on to Judge Judy to duke it out on national television, and it was a very fun experience. After the episode aired, a lot of people had uploaded it to YouTube. Right. And from there, that's where the commenting and sort of pulling me into these conversations that were either, hey, we really like you, we're defending you, that girl, what she did was wrong, and others that were like, you're a jerk, you're a loser, how could you treat this sweet, innocent girl like this? And so I'm getting involved in all these conversations that were rather kind of like a waste of my time. At the time, I was selling radio. I wasn't really into the online space as much, but I recognized that I had an audience. Martin, my Facebook page blew up with people sending me friend requests. And I saw the ability to build a loyal audience, and I wanted to see if I could duplicate that success again. So I started to make inflammatory political videos. And if you Google my name, you'll find, you know what I mean? I don't need to, there's like 5 different channels I did them on because I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
But it was through that I found my YouTube mentors and was able to grow, to grow from there. But leveraging the fact that people would comment, I got to a place, and I think we've all done this when we get involved in political conversations online, where you're like, I have to stop commenting, because they're just going to comment back,
Yeah. I mean? Time to walk away.
Yeah, time to walk away. And I thought, okay, how can I do this? Because I hated working for someone else. I always have, time cards and all that stuff. It just was not for me. Structure, not for me. Someone else's structure, not for me. How can I build an audience around content that earns a profit that will develop this loyal community? And take that on the web. And YouTube is a big place for that. But because of the way YouTube is set up, comments don't go viral the way they do on Twitter and on Facebook. So you really have to work within the YouTube framework where you're going on YouTube, you are commenting, you are engaging to comments on your own videos, and you're even going off of YouTube to your other Facebook groups and saying, go to my YouTube and please comment on this to help me get a conversation going. It's like pulling a lawnmower. And eventually that lawnmower starts to buzz, and now it's moving on its own. And you will have a more loyal audience than I believe, on any other social platform.
Yeah. And there is a community tab.
Let me geek out on that for just 30 more seconds. Here's why. Because when somebody scrolls past my Facebook, post or my Facebook image, they're engaging with me for what? 12 seconds, maybe 9 seconds. Even on my videos, right? We're running a video ad right now that is crushing it in terms of conversion, but people are opting in before they even watch 15 seconds of the video. So I've sold them in the first 10 seconds and they're off doing something else. YouTube is different. My average watch time on YouTube is about 30%. My average video is about 6 minutes. So I'm engaging with somebody for 2 to 3 minutes, face to face. They're seeing everything that I have to offer, and I've earned more of their online time than anyone else on Facebook. That's why the audience is stronger on YouTube.
And so this is not only brand building, but it's also then having the ability to take that attention and drive an action. That's the point, isn't it? That's what you really want. I mean, over time, you want people to move the next step.
Yes, absolutely. And that is step 2. I think step 1 is more awareness.
Yeah.
Just getting your channel out there and saying, hello world, I'm here, I'm alive, I often equate it to coming out, right? Like I have a lot of gay friends, and we're all buddies. I often tell them it's like coming out when you first jump onto YouTube. You have to just kind of like jump out and say, I'm here. You know what I mean? Love me. And you do that for 90 days with content that people love. And after you've earned their respect, that's when you say, hey, I've got this ebook, or hey, I've got this product.
So it's not rushing to try and get. That's just the thing. You've got to serve people, haven't you? That's the stuff. Even if it's serving in an entertainment fashion, it's still got to be about them.
Yeah, and the entertainment, I think, is definitely there every step of the way. we call it like infotainment, right? Especially for the business community, because the business community is going to be doing more, product tutorials, how-tos, educational type stuff. And you've got to present that information in a way that invokes an emotional response, whether it's happiness, sadness, laughter. Brands are so sterile, and they try so hard to not offend anybody. And in doing so, they don't please anybody either. I love it when a brand, this new direction of cause marketing, where brands are actually getting involved in causes that are intrinsically connected to their growth. The breast cancer thing is one of those, right? And it's like like everybody does breast cancer. Now, I'm a cancer survivor, and I have a lot of problems with breast cancer because almost none of that money from your pink yogurt lid goes to breast cancer in any way, shape, or form. So I got issues there. But I love how brands are finding a cause to emotionally invoke responses from their audiences. You don't have to do breast cancer, but you could do, if you're selling stun guns, tasers, karate, or something in the self-defense field, you need to be telling stories about people who did not have your tools and what happened to them and their family, right? Yeah. Or success stories. Hey, Jim from Cincinnati had one of our tasers in his pocket, and he wrote us this letter. And you're getting people now out of their seats and saying, wow, I'm engaged here.
Yeah, and I'm going to go a little further on your story, because part of it is about authenticity. Part of video is, you say it's about stepping out. I mean, what you've done is brought people along for the journey, because you've gone through a hell of a lot in the last 6-7 months. I mean,
6 months.
Yeah, crazy. And you are selling a service which relates to YouTube and optimization and content and all of these things, but actually people are buying you as well. I
agree with that 100%.
Yeah. And I think that's everyone can learn from that. It's got to be you, and it's very hard for people to. What I'm noticing now, and I've talked with a lot of businesses, and people often want the result, and they're not willing to do the thing. And I don't mean do the work, but they're not willing to do the thing that will get them the result, which is you've got to step forward, and you've got to. It's you that people are buying.
Stand up and be counted. You know what I mean? Like, I love what you just said, Martin, because, it's like, it's part of that sterility thing. Try to be so sterile so that you don't offend anybody. Go offend somebody, as long as they're offended by your passion and love for a specific topic. When I get out there and I talk about, my problems with the breast cancer Gestapo, I offend people, usually people that have not had cancer. My people that have had and beat cancer, we seem to all be disgusted by it, right? And that's the audience I want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those are my people. So I say stand up and be counted. If giving to marriage equality, right, is something that you're passionate about, do it. And I'm not saying lose the message of your business. That's not what I'm saying. For every 5 business videos you do, do a nonprofit video. If pro-life is something you're passionate about, do it. That's what I'm saying. Build an audience where you want your audience to be. How awkward would it be if you're like this big pro-choice person, but you're doing pro-life content because you see the market there, and then you go to like some fundraiser and you're like, oh my gosh, none of these people jive with who I really am.
Yeah.
And you're doing this whole like you're wearing a mask. Transparency, controlled transparency, right? I don't let people see me cry unless I need to let them see me cry. And I did a video 2 weeks ago where I couldn't hold it back anymore, and I laughed. I said, I can't believe I'm doing a video where I'm in tears. But one of my friends had written in our cancer group that his doctor gave him the there's nothing we can do conversation. I believe that conversation should be regulated out of the medical industry, and it broke my heart. I did a video about it. I broke down in tears. Now, are there other times I broke down in tears? Yes, but I kept that off video because that was more, there wasn't a connection between why. Sometimes you just need to cry. As Martin,
but this is yeah. We have. And I cried and I put the video out because it's about vulnerability as well, isn't it? And yes. I think that people from a business perspective will maybe listen to this and go, what? That's not what it's actually. This is very much the personality brand building side of being human, being real. And I think that that's what a lot of people don't understand when they start looking at the videos, because they want the results. You know, they want 100,000 views, and that would mean this number of clicks, or, you know, people essentially taking some next step, and they think of it like that. But actually, what's going to get the views is quality content, entertainment, but also showing that you're vulnerable, showing that you're human, because the millennial generation in particular is used to more authenticity than our generation, because it isn't acted, it's not scripted in the same sort of way. So they're more judgmental, dare I say. Now, it depends on your audience, doesn't it? It depends on the age group that that essentially attracted. But that is what's going on YouTube. And I think people don't realise that there's communities within communities as well.
Yes.
And there's an opportunity for you to find your people.
Yeah, and you really have to know who your people are, who are the people that are buying your product. And if you say, oh, well, everybody, then you're wrong. That's, I hate to say, it's lazy thinking. Well, everybody could buy my product. And while that might be true, everyone could buy a fork, right? You're a fork salesman. You're like, everybody could use my fork. That's true technically, but the Eastern world is not interested in your fork. You think Chinese people don't know we use forks over here? They're very well aware, and they prefer their chopsticks, right? So stick that in your pipe and smoke it, okay? So my point is this. Know who your audience is. And if you don't know who they are, decide who you want them to be. And go out there and show them who you are.
There you go.
They will ask you about your products and your services, and things like that. I was interviewed on a podcast, mutual friend of ours, Michael Stelzner's podcast. And I'd made a joke. I made kind of like a joke about, video is not for ugly people. And we both laughed and we moved on. But there was a girl who left a comment that was like, that was a really rude thing to say. And I said, hey, I'm so sorry you didn't appreciate the joke, but thank you for listening to the podcast. If she is offended by a clear joke like that, she is not my audience. I am a funny, upbeat, kind of quirky guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I want to laugh with my people. I'm a lot like you, Martin. I'm very passionate. I'm very outgoing. When I laugh hard. When I cry until I'm out of tears. You know what I mean? And I want to be around people that have a passion for life and a tolerance for other people. That's who my audience is. That's who I want them to be. So I try to communicate that in my videos so that I attract the right type of person.
Fantastic. YouTube marketing. I feel we ought to just touch on one thing. I was going to wrap up, but actually advertising on YouTube.
Like paid ads?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah, do it. Do it with all your heart, mind, and soul. Here, I'm going to get kicked out of my groups for saying this on a podcast. The secret to going viral is paying for virality. Okay. What is the video? Dollar Shave Club. Millions and millions and millions of views. Bought and paid for.
Yeah.
Okay. The Poopery ad. Bought and paid for. Okay. Now they put an ad spend out and then let virality take over.
Yeah. So seed in it, essentially, isn't it? To some, in some way.
That's absolutely getting it going. What you're doing.
Yeah.
You've got to be, and here's what you can do with paid ads, right? Especially for business, and that high-end agency media buys, probably not a large part of this audience. So let's talk from like the business perspective, the entrepreneur, solopreneur, or medium-sized small business, $20 million and under. What you're going to want to do is, as you start launching videos, you want to pay for your first 1,000 views before the video goes public. So it's an unlisted video, and you're pushing views to it. Why? You want to check your click-through rate. So how many people saw the ad, impressions, how many people clicked through, your CTR, right? If that number is not 3 to 5%, change the thumbnail. and that might cost $40. There's way more inventory on YouTube than there are people buying it. Much more supply than demand. So the prices are ridiculous. YouTube Red's going to change that, but still a great marketplace to be in. I just ran an ad for $40, put $1,000 to my video, 1,000 views to my video that's coming out tomorrow, and I know that my thumbnail is not getting what I want it to get. So I'm going to change it. I'm going to run another 1,000 views to it. I'm going to try and improve that click-through rate.
Yeah.
Right? So doing paid ads is healthy for your business because, there's no free lunch, right? And the costs are very, very low. You can't do 1,000, do 100 and just work with that number. Do 250, for $20. But a paid ad strategy should be a part of your YouTube marketing for business approach.
Fantastic. Owen, where can everyone find you?
Check me out at thevideospot.net. We are launching a YouTube course. We launch it every 6 months. We're about to launch in January, and we'll be launching again in June. So if you don't make it in, you can get on the waiting list. We'd be happy to have you, and you can follow our blog content in the meantime. In the YouTube course, though, we will teach you the step-by-step processes and workflows that are essential to YouTube success. We had a client do 1,000 subscribers the day she launched her channel because she did it right. So you can check all that out at thevideospot.net. You can also go to youtube.com and search for Video Spot. One word. You're sure to find me, and I hope that you'll leave a comment so that I can talk with you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, sir. Always a pleasure.
The pleasure's mine.
That was the Google for Business podcast. I'm Martin Shervington, and I hope you're listening next time.